You might be wondering, what does decluttering have to do with interior design? And is it really essential? Well, I'll tell you why I think it's an important first step. Welcome to GA Atelier, the podcast where intentional interior design meets mindful living. I'm your host, Jihan Askar, and I'm here with you on this journey to transform our living spaces into sanctuaries that reflect our unique story, personality, style, and lifestyle, while elevating our everyday life at home. So step inside my design workshop and let's design your home together. So today I want to dive a bit deeper in decluttering. I've actually had a podcast series on decluttering a while ago, if you want to go back and listen to that. But today I just want to specifically talk about why it's a step that gets overlooked when we are thinking about design or designing or refreshing a space. But in my opinion, it's absolutely critical before you begin any design project or just, refreshing a space in your home. For me, it really has two layers. The physical aspect of decluttering and removing and editing items, and the mental part, which is more about starting fresh, taking a closer look at what you have and what you want to start setting the vision for the space. So it's the physical act of removing the stuff, but also the mental act of thinking about the space. So if the space is filled with things that no longer serve you or reflect your current lifestyle, I really don't believe you can truly start designing a space if you haven't cleared the things that just don't belong there anymore. So decluttering is not just about tidying things up, but you're setting the stage for that intentional design. And this is my whole philosophy behind GA Atelier, is that intentionality. You're stopping, you're assessing, evaluating before you start designing and creating. So in fact, if you're listening in October, I'm hosting a workshop next week all about decluttering. It's complimentary this time. And actually, this is the second time I hosted because so many people asked me about it. Last time it was live, it was not recorded, so some people could not attend or missed it. So this time there will be a recording. It is live, but the recording will be available for a limited time. So just make sure you sign up. Even if you can't show up live, you still have access, and it will be a deeper dive together into that subject of decluttering so that we can set the stage for a great design refresh or a design project that you're looking at. So decluttering. Let's start with the obvious reason why it's essential. It gives you a clean slate. You're clearing the space. When your space is cluttered with things you don't need anymore, it's literally hard to visualize new possibilities. You can't see the room depending on how much stuff you have. But when you start decluttering, or at least assessing and even moving things around, you might just, say, okay, I am decluttering that space, but I'm not necessarily throwing stuff. I'm just moving it to where it belongs or where it should belong. Then you start seeing possibilities and new potential in that space. And the second reason is that when you declutter, you're giving yourself room to breathe. So that's the mental part I was talking about. So physically and mentally, you have some space to start thinking about what you want. You're clearing the space so you have a clear mind to bring in new ideas, and it gives you that momentum to create something fresh. The other thing I like about decluttering, it's like an assessment tool. If we want to design our spaces intentionally, we have to first assess the current state of the space. When you go through the process of decluttering, you reconnect with the objects in your home, whether it's accessories, furniture, items, because, hopefully you're doing it slowly enough to hold this object or look at the furniture and say, okay, do I still want it? Do I still like it? So that gives you that time to reconnect with what you have already. In fact, I had a client recently during a design day who just rediscovered pieces of furniture that they love, and now they want them to be a statement piece in that design refresh that we're working on. So it's not just about getting rid of stuff. You might discover stuff that you like and that you forgot about. So also decluttering, it will force you to ask these questions when you're evaluating the objects. What feels aligned with my life right now and my lifestyle? What do I want to keep? What do I want to let go of? And why? This is an important question, is why? How do I feel about these items? Do these things bring me joy? Do they have a purpose in my daily life? Or are they simply just taking space? And how do they make you feel? Like, do they make you feel guilty, maybe, or wasteful on a daily basis when you look at them, just because it reminds you of a mistake that you made or something? So these questions will be the foundation of that intentional decluttering, but also the intentional design that comes after it. The answers will guide you. Sorting through your belongings, you will naturally start to shape that vision for what you want your space to be. You start establishing what your current needs are. What do you need to rethink or redesign in your space? You're getting a clearer and clearer vision and understanding of what truly belongs in that new design that you want. And as you declutter, you start deciding what stays and what goes. So this steps allows you to be discerning and really hone in on what you like today, not what you liked in the past, not the choices you've made in the past, but today. Because, things evolve, your style evolves, your likes and dislikes evolve, your lifestyle evolves. We've discussed this before in the podcast. But you will have a clearer idea of what you like today. Maybe there are items you've been holding on to because of sentimental reasons, but they no longer fit in your new vision for the space. Maybe you'll find things that once had a purpose, but now have become irrelevant. Or the opposite can happen too. You might find some forgotten treasures. Another benefit of decluttering is obviously assessing the functional side of design, your storage and organization needs. I have seen this with some of my clients. They think they need more storage when the real issue is that we simply have too much stuff or stuff in the wrong location. And we don't need to add storage, because adding storage can also be a form of clutter. We just need to go through the stuff and edit a little bit, or just move it to a different location that makes better sense. The opposite is also true. Clients or people can think that, oh, I have clutter, but in reality, there is just nowhere to store or organize the items. And in that case, we need a storage solution. So once you've gone through the decluttering process, you can evaluate your storage with fresh eyes. Are your storage systems functional? Do they serve your lifestyle today, again, with your current needs? Or do they need to be reworked to better fit the new design and the new functionality that you want? Another important thing to assess, or that you're able to assess when you're decluttering, is how your space flows. Sometimes once the clutter is gone, you might notice that the layout of the room isn't working as well as it could. Or again, the opposite might be true. The layout and flow are just fine. And now that there is more space and less stuff, you just have that layout functioning better. So for me personally, decluttering is at its core a form of curating when you think about it. Because it's true, you're editing and removing things, but you're also keeping some. So you're choosing what will go, but you're also choosing what will stay. You're curating your space to create something that feels intentional and aligned with your vision. Once you've decluttered, you've essentially laid the groundwork for design. Now you can begin to arrange the pieces you've kept that you know you want to keep in ways that make sense to you, but also put these pieces in a way that adds value to them. Each piece you keep now has a reason for being there. So that makes the design process becomes so much smoother. You're no longer designing around stuff you don't want or you don't like, that you're just tied down with. You're designing around the things that matter to you, that you love. So reconnect with your home and your belongings. Assess what you have. See what you like, what you need. It will help you create that clear vision for the space you want, because you are a step closer in knowing what you want and what you don't want or like anymore. What is functioning and what is not functioning. Trust me, the process will open up new opportunities and possibilities to design a space that truly reflects your lifestyle and goals. Today, you'll have more freedom because you are not tied or limited by the things or the layout that you might have now, or maybe, you never even liked it. So I highly recommend, before you dive into any design project, just take the time to declutter, assess your space, get rid of what no longer serves you, so that you're not designing around the wrong stuff. When you go through this process, you begin to curate your space intentionally and create that foundation for intentional design. The process will not only make your space feel more aligned with who you are, but it will also make designing that space a much more meaningful experience. You're curating your life and your space, keeping only what makes sense for where you are now and where you're headed. I hope today's episode has inspired you to start the decluttering process and get ready for your next design project with a fresh perspective and a clear space and a clear mind. I would love if you could tag me on Instagram, maybe take a picture of what you're doing with your decluttering at home and tag me. I have my Instagram handle in the show notes, and don't forget to sign up for that workshop if you want to dive deeper into decluttering and ask me any questions, and this will also hopefully give you the momentum you need to get started. Thank you for joining my atelier, and if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a review or maybe share it with a friend, or also share the link for the workshop with a friend, and I'll see you in the next episode.